Let me be absolutely clear about what I think. Bitch McConnell, his entire family, his entire village, whatever the fuck is associated with him can all go to hell. And I don't give a shit about being a decent person at this point. I hate him with every fiber of my being. This isn't the person who got us to where we are today. I would like you, if you are, just an observer, somebody watching this video, put in the video comments box like what's the big accomplishment of the Mitch McConnell career? How did he get to be the Senate Majority Leader? And how is it that we have two parties that are run by such disgusting roaches, the Democrats and the Republicans, that this is what we get? It says on white and black, Mitch McConnell's $50 billion Obamacare fix riles conservatives. Well, it should rile more than conservatives. Okay, I don't care who you are. I don't care what your viewpoint is. I mean, obviously, if you're a progressive, you don't like it either. Because effectively, this means that you are giving $50 billion in corporate welfare to insurance companies. That's what the Democratic and Republican parties are going to conspire to do, and there is nothing you can fucking do about it. The only person that you can actually hope will do something about it is, ironically, the one person a lot of you think is a complete asshole, and that would be President Trump. And it's very important that whatever the case may be, we have to prevail on him to veto the bill if it does pass, because it's becoming increasingly evident that Bitch McConnell and the Republican Party, especially his minions, those what do you call them? Those centrists, Susan Collins and John McCain and Lindsey Graham and Marco Rubio and Chuck Grassley, all those Senate Republicans. They think that they got America to the point that it's at. No, it doesn't. That's not how America got to this point where we're trying to reform healthcare and bring it back to the hands of the patient / the consumer. Okay, we are trying to bring America out of this disgusting system of corporate blackmail and welfare called Obamacare. And if you're one of those people that is advocating for single payer, then you should understand that this doesn't really bring you closer either. So, I mean, I think people have to join forces and say with a clear and loud voice that any senator who votes for whatever abomination this disgusting turkey-necked piece of shit puts out tomorrow will be primaried, regardless of what party he is in. Because it's unacceptable that people have been waiting, obviously since before President Obama was president, to get affordable health insurance. And what do we keep getting? We keep getting excuses. The Affordable Care Act was the greatest failure of domestic policy in American history. And what Bitch McConnell will do, and I'm trying not to use his real name because, he doesn't really, he's ill-deserving of even being considered a person now. This is somebody who is the ultimate deceiver. He's sitting there in some office in the Capitol basically saying, well, I can keep taking lobbying money. I can keep going to cocktail parties in D.C. The people of Kentucky, one of the poorer states in the Union, don't have to worry about having a leader that actually is accountable to them, because I'm accountable to the health insurance lobbies. I'm accountable to the pharmaceutical lobby. I'm accountable to these, basically, by extension, to all of these unions that are benefiting from the way that this system works. Because it's a one hand washes the other system. You have the worst of big government interventionism combined with crony capitalism. It's the worst. There's nobody, I think, on either side of the aisle that actually has a real idea-driven mentality towards how they relate to healthcare that will approve of this disgusting behavior that he's. I mean, we can read through some of it. I mean, it's basically the title says it all. News that Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell, Bitch McConnell, is open to fixing the individual insurance exchanges if the GOP cannot get enough votes to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act has enraged conservatives. Senator McConnell, Kentucky Republican, failed to bring his Better Care Reconciliation Act to a vote before the July 4th recess, with GOP moderates unable to support legislation that would roll back the ACA's Medicaid expansion and increase the number of uninsured Americans by 22 million. If my side is unable to agree on an adequate replacement, then some kind of action with regard to the private insurance market must occur. McConnell said in a Washington Post report, "No action is not an alternative. We've got the insurance markets imploding all over the country." With moderate Republican senators open to fixing the private insurance exchanges and leaving the ACA's medical expansion as is when they return this week from their recess, conservatives are beginning to worry that their idea of a full ACA repeal and even a major overhaul are going to get rolled in favor of a bipartisan bailout of Obamacare, as Heritage Action for America said Friday. It would have emboldened Republican moderates as they continue to hold out in an attempt to keep as much of Obamacare on the books as possible, and would undermine honest efforts that empower states to get out from under Obamacare's burdensome regulations. Then it goes and says, in particular, the GOP legislation already includes a $50 billion infusion to help shore up the individual insurance market, where more than 9 million Americans are purchasing coverage on the ACA's public exchanges. It would include money to stabilize markets on top of funds for cost-sharing reductions through the end of 2019. So then it says, the CSRs, which low-income individuals use to help pay co-payments and deductibles, are supported by the health insurance industry and are supported by the likes of Anthem, Centene, Oscar Health, and the dozens of Blue Cross and Blue Shield plans that plan to remain offering individual policies on exchanges. Centene, Oscar, and Medica are among those expanding into the ACA's individual insurance markets for 2018. But conservatives see the $50 billion as a bailout of the health insurance industry. Well, no shit. Propping up the Obamacare exchanges with a $50 billion infusion of taxpayer cash would be a serious mistake. Citizens Council for Health Freedom President Twila Braze said, the exchanges act as wage redistribution systems that make working Americans poorer and advance government health care for all. They force people in the individual insurance market to pay higher prices to cover people with uninsurable conditions, and they provide taxpayer-funded subsidies to cover part of the resulting higher premiums. Now, let me say this. I'm actually a lot angrier than I appear now on camera. Because how many times can this continue to happen? And the Republican Party is oblivious to it. That's why we need to join in. I think I was watching earlier this afternoon, believe it or not, the Alex Jones show, which I don't always watch because it's kind of too goofy even for me. Sometimes I just watch it to laugh or whatever. I mean, it's not like I disrespect I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes it's just way too much. Come on. But Alex Jones and Mike Cernovich, who were both on it, they made a great point that the corporate Republicans are the enemy of the American people and Donald Trump. And it's not a matter of being a socialist or a capitalist or an anarchist or a ventriloquist. It doesn't matter. They are going after every single cent of tax revenue. They're not redistributing it to the people. Their corporate tax cuts are the wrong approach. And this bill, the Democrats are in the same boat. And we know now that this system of two-party cooperation and bipartisanship, that is the enemy of this country. We don't need two parties that have virtually the same agenda with, so one of them caters to one market and the other one caters to just a different set of people. But in the end, they're all criminals. What is it that I see here? People have been starting to talk about this afternoon and well, since yesterday, in fact, that the Obamacare markets are stabilizing. Now, some of you might say, so shut the fuck up, Ramon. You don't have anything to complain about anymore. That's not exactly the full story, okay? God, I hate this browser. The only way it can stabilize is one of two ways. A, the government subsidizes these plans at a much higher rate, which means that the general fund pays for it more, meaning you, or the consumer, the actual person purchasing that health insurance, is paying more. And the Fiscal Times, they get it right. It says, hefty price increases have stabilized the Obamacare insurance market. So it doesn't matter if it's stabilized. The point of Obamacare, I don't have any more. If anybody else asks, why are you so against Obamacare? So many people depend on it. It doesn't matter, because the whole point was to actually lower premiums. And if you're seeing massive price increases year after year, then it's not making premiums go down. Okay, I don't have to explain that to you. It says a new study suggests that major health insurers are faring far better than previously assumed in providing coverage under the Affordable Care Act. One reason for this stability is the hefty price increases implemented this year, which have doubled gross margins in the first quarter, but hurt consumers who don't qualify for taxpayer subsidies. So is that really helping more people? No. Republicans say Congress has no alternative to repeal and replace Obamacare in the coming weeks to rescue American consumers from a failed system that has sent premiums and co-payments skyrocketing, dramatically reduce the availability of coverage in many counties, and force major insurers like Anthem, Humana, and United Healthcare out of the government-subsidized individual insurance market because of huge losses. President Trump insists that Obamacare is dead, even as Senate Republicans struggle to agree on a replacement plan that can attract at least 50 votes before the August recess. However, a new analysis of early 2017 results by the Kaiser Family Foundation indicates that the individual market is stabilizing and that insurers in the Obamacare market are regaining profitability. The latest findings released on Monday contrast sharply with an earlier analysis of premium and claims data from 2011 to 2016 that showed a worsening situation with the opening of the exchange markets in 2014 and 2015. But things began to pick up in 2016, and the new report, based on first quarter financial data from 2017, shows that recent premium increases, an average of 20% or more, were sufficient to bring insurer performance back to pre-ACA levels. A study by eHealth of Obamacare premiums and deductibles showed a 22% increase since last year's open enrollment. The average monthly family premium was $1,021, an increase of 23% since last year. So that's $1,023 per month per family. Health Pocket said the popular Silver Plan premiums jumped an average 17% in 2017 for individuals and 15% for deductibles. The more positive trend, I love how they say a cost increase is a positive trend, is based on a number of factors, including a decline in the share of health premiums that insurance companies paid out as claims in this average monthly hospital patient days per 1,000 enrollees. The latest findings were based on an insurer-reported financial data from Health Coverage Portal TM, a market database, whatever. It says medical loss ratios are the share or percentage of health premiums paid out as claims. The ratio was bad for insurers in the early years of Obamacare, when insurance companies and state regulators had little information to work from in setting premiums and made frequent mistakes. But beginning in 2016, loss ratios began to decline, indicating improved financial performance. During the first quarter of 2017, following relatively large premium increases, individual market insurers saw significant improvement in loss ratios, averaging 75%, down from as high as 85%. Although the 2017 annual loss ratios are likely to end up higher than 75%, this is nevertheless a sign that individual market insurers on average are on a path toward regaining profitability in 2017. So then, here we go. This is the bottom line. They took them till, way down in the article. I mean, how much more? They really do go into this, but it says here, higher premiums and reduced claims. The combination of a premium increase in 2017 and a simultaneous slowdown in the growth of claims for medical expenses has contributed to the recent improvement in the individual market insurer's financial picture. On average, premiums per enrollee grew 20% from first quarter 2016 to first quarter 2017, while per person claims grew only 5%, the report states. So why is that an important, the most important comment here? Okay, so what does this all mean? Why is it that profitability is increasing? The answer is super, super, super simple, okay? As you probably know, Obamacare includes, ironically, for what's called the Affordable Care Act, a lot of plans that are high premium and high deductible, which means you get fucked both ways. You actually get fucked before you get kissed, if you like the Eric Cartman analogy. Let's see if I can find that.
Would you mind loaning me some of your lipstick, Mom? Because I want to at least look pretty the next time you decide to f*** me.
You get the point. The premium obviously is the upfront cost, and the deductible is the cost if you take care. So a lot of these people are not filing claims because they cannot afford to pay the deductible. So that's what's reining in the costs. So people they're in need of care, they need the care, but they're not going to get it because they don't want to pay the heavy ass deductibles. So it's not the deductibles aren't going down, the premiums aren't going down, and this actually, hypothetically, this whole bullshit with Tom Perez and Elizabeth Warren about, if you repeal Obamacare, people may die. Well, the way it is right now, if people are not seeking, let's say, regular checkups with their cardiologist, if they have like cardiovascular issues, I'm just pulling out, routine issues that people may have if they have a pre-existing condition, which is the whole fucking point of this. If they're not seeking those treatments because they don't want to pay the deductibles, then this whole thing is a complete farce. It's a joke. It is a joke. And I think that we are at a point where, Jones said it today, Alex Jones, and Cernovich also said the same thing. We are going to have to mount a full-scale insurrection within the conservative movement to dethrone these people, these Republican hacks, these frauds, all of them, from Ryan to McConnell and in between. They have to all go. And the Freedom Caucus, I think, is the first. They're the people that we have to build on. They're the people that, in fact, they're the people asking for the border wall. They're the people that Donald Trump has to now recognize that the real friends of his are the ones that are the uncompromising, conservative wing of the party. Now, on the progressive side, I can't say much for you. Obviously, you don't support a full repeal of Obamacare with nothing coming instead of it because, I'm not an idiot, and neither are you. You know that you want single-payer healthcare, which I'm absolutely opposed to. But what this will do, a $50 billion bailout of the insurance industry, will be a complete disaster for our health insurance industry. It will continue all these disgusting trends. It'll enrich these insurance companies for a further year. I do believe that in the long run, you'll see the same thing repeated over and over again. I think it might go in waves. There will be high increases in premiums, 1 year, and then the next year will be a little more shallow. But it's not going to bring you closer to your single payer either. It's almost as if it delays the inevitable for both of us. We want a full repeal and a reform of the healthcare industry where, there's more choice for private individuals. You can buy HSAs, whatever you want. You can buy low-cost healthcare plans. And you guys obviously want to take the whole thing over or something. Unless you're denying it, in which case you're just dishonest. But there has to be a full-scale insurrection in both parties in order for either of these options to come along. And believe you me, I'm against single payer. This will not bring either solution. Bitch McConnell wants things to stay the same. This is a status quo bailout. It's just a simple fact. When you give money to the insurance industry, you're doing these subsidies, you're doing these bailouts, these cost share reductions, whatever you want to call them. I think in fact, they're all basically the same thing. They're just called different things at different times. You are creating a crony capitalist Keynesian society, or what in some countries you would call soft socialism. It's a matter of perspective, but neither one of us is going to be satisfied. So I'm going to pass over. I'm going to try to edit out as much of the cursing as possible because I'm just losing my temper here, and except for the Cartman part. And you guys have a great night, and let's start really working on this. Hashtag Bitch McConnell. Start watching the Cernovich channel. It's at Cernovich on Twitter. Fantastic statements on this topic from a real intense individual, Mike Cernovich. And we just have to prevail upon Donald Trump to do the right thing and veto whatever bill these creatures, these gargoyles, put before him. Have a great night, everybody, and stay bold.